Good morning. This is Jackie Shapiro at Shapiro Hearst.
And I'm Jaden. We're just here talking a little bit about credit today.
We're going to be answering some of Jaden's questions on credit. We hope these bring value to you as well. How are you doing today, Jaden?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well.
Thanks for having me. I know how passionate you are about credit, and I wanted to really just sit down and have a little conversation with you about it and find a little bit more out about credit as well. So to start, one of the questions I have is why is credit so important?
So the number one answer for that, credit expands over everything that we do in our financial world, right? So if you've got low credit scores, from a just finance standpoint, low credit scores are going to cost you about $10,000 more per year, just on the basic things that you spend money on. You know, your house, your car, your insurance for your car, your insurance for your home, interest rates that you get on credit cards or loans. All of that stuff goes through the roof when you've got low credit scores. So that would be one aspect. The other aspect is actually social credibility, right? So there's a huge difference when you walk into a dealership or you're getting that whatever X is for you, right? And you know walking in, okay, I got a 760, I'm a high achiever credit score, they're going to give me whatever I want. Versus if you know your credit scores are low, scientifically, it's also shown that it can have psychological effects. Feelings of insecurity, feelings of not being worthy. Studies show that men versus women, men judge women on if they believe they're financially stable. More women judge men on if they think they're financially stable. Sure. But it goes both ways. So there are a lot of aspects of why credit's so important to everyday life.
Okay, interesting. And what is credit really? I should have started with that question, but how would you explain to people what credit is?
So that's a really good question. What is credit? Credit is your ability to leverage yourself and your goals financially. It's your ability to use that as a tool to level yourself up in wherever you're at in life and whatever that goal is that you have to accomplish. There's no wealth on this planet that has ever been created without credit.
And it's such a large part of your life, really, right? Like it really makes up so many parts of the things that you can and can't do in a way, right?
Yeah, and it can determine whether or not you actually get hired for a job. For example, if you are in the military or you work on an Air Force base and you need a security clearance, if you've got bad credit, you're going to automatically be rejected for that job. If you're in financial services, if you do loans or mortgages, all of those things are licensed. So if you don't have good credit, you cannot have the license, you will not have the job.
Very, very interesting. And I feel like that's what makes it easy for you to want to help people with their credit, right? Like what makes you so passionate about credit and helping people with their credit?
Oh my gosh, I love credit. I do. I mean, call me crazy, but I love credit. And I think there are a couple of different avenues to answer that for me. So at Shapiro Hearst, that immediate goal for us as a company is to help 1 million people achieve their personal, professional, and financial goals through having great credit, right? But for me personally, I love being able to help that person. And I'll give you an example. I had a client, this was several years ago, and we were having a conversation about helping her. She was a single mom. She had 3 boys, and this lady had lived through everything. I mean, she'd beat drugs, she'd beat homelessness. You know, she was working in a fabric store. She didn't make a lot of money. And she told me at the time, she's like, Jackie, I'm going to have to clip coupons to do this. And if you don't do what you tell me that you say you're going to do, I'm going to drive to your office and I will kick your fill in the blank. Right? So anyway, it was about 90 days later. And she called me and she was just in tears. I mean, sobbing to the point I could not understand her. And then my first thought was, oh my gosh, something's happened to her kids.
Something bad happened.
And so she calmed down enough to, it took a couple of minutes, but she calmed down enough to say, Jackie, I just got the keys to my house. My children will never have to wonder where they're going to live again.
How rewarding. What a rewarding feeling, right?
And I get to do that on a daily basis. Now, long term, my mission, I'm going to change the next generation, their relationship with credit and finance and money, because it's one of the biggest problems that we have is it's not taught, Jaden. It's just not taught. And these kids coming up, if we can change that entire conversation with them, we can make a massive difference in our country. And hopefully it'll expand beyond our country. I don't know if I'll be able to live to see that part of it, but I have somebody that can pick up that baton and keep running.
I love it. I love it. I know I would have definitely appreciated learning things like that in school. I mean, thankfully, I have a mom that works in credit, has been in finance my entire life, so I know important things about that. But I wish that those were fundamentals that were taught in school for sure. I think it's super important as you get older to know things about credit because overall it really does affect your life. So I appreciate you answering my questions, though.
Absolutely. It has been such a pleasure having you here today.
Thanks.
Is there any last thoughts or any last questions that you would like to ask me?
What else can I ask you about credit? I guess maybe one thing that I think people should know, and I have questions about as well, is the numbers. Like how do we decide on a credit? How is it decided on a credit score? What's good, bad, or what would you say is good credit, bad credit, fair credit, excellent credit?
So, great question. Thank you for that. So, great credit scores, ultimately where you want to be is a 760 to an 850 credit score. Once you reach a 760, then you become part of that high achiever club, if you will. A lot of people think they have to have an 800 score, to have perfect, excellent credit, but that's simply not true. So the mark really should be the 760 plus. Now, some of that requires time or age in the credit report to hit that high achiever. But even if you're at the 700 plus, you're still going to get qualified for what you need, as long as you have the income to back it up, obviously. But lower than that, you're going to start accumulating interest points. You're going to start accumulating more fees. So, we could do bad, fair, good, excellent, but I think it's more important to know where you're going to, because once you've got that objective, then you can reverse engineer the path to get there. And anybody can schedule a free 30-minute strategy session with me to review their reports and go through, here's how we get there.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I think those are my few questions that I have for today. I appreciate your time and explaining things to us, right?
So go to the Ask Jackie section, and we're here to answer your questions as well. Have an amazing day and the credit success you deserve.